What is life, really? A reaction, a pattern, a spark that persists in chaos? We see it in cells and code. But does it end where biology fades? Could a rock breathe if time moved slow enough? Is consciousness a fluke or a phase transition? We ask not to answer, but to widen the frame. Hello again, traveler. I am Aytaç Ertekin and this is SITU, Silence in the Universe. In our last episode, we faced the crushing weight of possibility that we may be the first civilization to awaken in the dark. Today, we return to something simpler, something quieter. We return the land, and to someone who listens not with antennas but with hands. Sadhana, a woman who grows life in difficult places, who understands how soil and time can surprise us. If life can adapt here on Earth, what could it become out there? In this episode, we explore Xenobiology, the study of strange life, and the possibility that the universe is not silent, but simply speaking in forms we do not yet understand. Last night, Sadhana couldn't sleep. The rain hammered against her windows, heavy and relentless. Thunder roared across the hills like a wounded beast in the dark. Then morning came. The sun rose bright and indifferent, as if the storm had never happened. Opening the window, Sadhana breathed in deep, damp earth, fresh leaves, the scent of renewal. Below, children trade stories of the night's violence. One voice, louder than the rest, spoke of something strange. A new cave had appeared near the village. Curiosity sparked. She checked her coop, her chickens, careless as ever, pecked all ground, finding a feast of wiggly worms. She smiled, fed them, and realized she had a rare gift, a morning with nothing urgent to do. So she set out to find the cave. The forest glistered around her, washed clean by the storm. Raindrops clung to blades of grass and leaves, like a second starry sky. Mushrooms, white, red, gold, violet, had erupted overnight. Some clustered like tiny villages at the bases of trees. Others stood alone, their caps stretched wide to drink in the morning light. A few she had never seen before, strange shapes, carved with patterns that felt deliberate, as though marked by an unknown hand. She gathered some familiar ones, thinking of her favorite mushroom soup, but mostly she marveled. The storm had been fierce, destructive, and yet here was life, not broken by violence, but strengthened by it. She remembered something her grandmother once told her. Some life doesn't merely survive hardship, some life requires it. The forest wasn't just enduring, it was reborn. And as she knelt among the dripping leaves, Sadhana thought, sometimes life doesn't just endure extremes, sometimes it overgrows them. The trail to the cave was rough, muddy from the storm, blocked by broken branches. Vines hung low, and puddles reflected slivers of the sky. A pair of brilliantly colored butterflies, wings still damp, danced above a fallen log, life finding its moment in chaos. When Sadhana finally reached the cave, she wasn't sure what she had expected. A crack in the hillside, a hollow washed out by the rains. What she found was stranger. The narrow mouth of the cave barely allowed her to slip through. Inside, the air was cool, damp, and the walls shimmered. Crystals, pale blue, deep violet, fiery orange, jutted out in impossible patterns, catching the weak sunlight and scattering it into shards of color. She ran her fingers along the formations, feeling their smooth faces and sharp edges. Some were translucent, bending light into strange hues. The deeper she walked, the more unreal it became. Some of the crystals paused, as if breathing with the earth. Others rang faintly, like music shaped by no human hand. At the heart of the cave, she found a still pool. Its surface was so perfectly calm it appeared solid. But as she knelt beside it, she saw. Along the edges, microscopic crystals were forming, creeping inwards in a lace-like patterns, growing. She stood still, hand on the stone, breathed, held, and asked herself, is this not a kind of life? Not of blood and breath, but of slow, silent growth. With ancient patience shaped by forces barely understood. She recalled reading about extremophiles, organisms thriving in impossible places, bacteria in volcanic vents, algae in reactor pools, fungi consuming radiation at Chernobyl. And then the thought came. If Earth can create something so alien beneath our feet, what might other worlds create under stranger light? Sadhana left the cave, crystals in her pocket, questions in her heart. At home, she held one to the light. Its facets cast strange shadows, pulsing faintly, as if echoing the cave's silent breath. Sipping tea, she wondered. If Earth hides such alien forms beneath its skin, what could stranger worlds grow? Life beyond our rules. We search for life, expecting breath, water, motion, chemistry we know. But what if life needs none of these? What if it waves itself from the universe's deeper threads? The Fermi paradox asks why the stars are silent. Perhaps the answer lies in life so strange. We have yet to hear its voice. Silicon life, the slow intelligence. Sadhana pictured a scorching planet, thick with silica dust. Silicon, like carbon, can form complex chains. Could it grow into crystalline beings, assembling atom by atom over centuries? They don't rush, they don't hunger. Their thoughts unfold across geological time, on worlds we'd call lifeless, but to them alive with meaning. Metallic blood, alien chemistry. Her mind drifted to high-pressure worlds, where life might bleed green or blue, copper or vanadium could pulse through alien veins, oxidizing rock instead of sugar, thriving in gases toxic to us. To them, such worlds are home, to us, unimaginable. Could such beings explain the silence we hear? Ammonia oceans, cold and slow. Sadhana imagined Titan's methane rivers, dark and frigid. There, life might creep like glaciers. Is chemistry unfolding in rhythms too slow for us to see? Ammonia, not water, could cradle their reactions. Fuel would be their light, motion, their memory. Would we notice them, or would they slip past our sensors? Gravity's prisoners, diamond and stone. On worlds crashed by gravity, life might be unyielding. Diamond skinned, titanium skeletons rooted like stone. They'd speak through vibrations, words rippling through rock, traveling miles over halls. From above, they are hills, beneath, minds still ancient and deliberate. Sadhana wondered, could their slow thoughts be why we hear no signals? Storms of thought, plasma beings. In the churning clouds of gas giants, Sadhana saw something wilder. Beings of plasma, storms of charged particles thinking in magnetic pulses. No bodies, no DNA, just energy woven into form. To us, they'd be weather. To them, we'd be ghosts, too fleeting to matter. Neutron stars, life. Compressed minds. Near neutron stars, where gravity crushes atoms, could life arise from magnetic fields alone, self-sustaining? They'd think across millennia, our civilizations blinking past like dust. Would they notice us, or are we too brief for their gaze? Beyond physics, life as pattern. Sadhana turned the crystals in her hand. This one borrowed from her touch. Physicists speak of quantum form, fluctuations shaping reality's edge. Could life emerge from these, from patterns in probability itself? Not flesh, not stone, not structure. Alive in spaces we cannot name. Perhaps such lives watches us now, from silences we haven't learned to hear. A universe alive with questions. Sadhana sets the crystals on her windows, its light fracturing the room. The world outside was quiet, but alive with new silences. We live, we endure, we are here. If life can be so strange, crystals, plasma, patterns, perhaps the universe isn't silent, but speaking in voices we are only beginning to imagine. In the episodes ahead, we'll explore these alien forms, silicon mines, plasma storms, and more, searching for clues to the Fermi paradox's great silence. Back at home, Sadhana placed the crystals in her windowsill. Sunlight streamed through their facets, casting fractured constellations across the floor. She stood in their glow and wondered, if those stones could speak, what would they say? We search for extraterrestrial life with earthbound methods, radio waves, prime numbers, patterns in noise. The fingerprints of minds like ours. But what if life elsewhere does not think like us, does not signal like us, does not even exist like us? The silent signals we might be missing. Some civilizations may never use sound. Their language may not unfold its words, but in magnetic fields, in modulated gravitational ripples, impulses that pass through planets, like whispers through stones. Perhaps an ancient species writes its history in the motion of comets, a cosmic library we have mistaken for chaos. And the most advanced life may not speak at all. Instead, it may sculpt the quantum structure of reality itself, encoding truth into probability, weaving messages into the very mat of existence, hearing what we were never meant to listen to. Sadhana remembered her childhood. Now her cousins would laugh at the high-pitched songs or insects. She could no longer hear. "You are too old," they said. It wasn't about ears. It was about range and attention. We are turned our narrow band of reality, what our senses allow, what our science expects. If alien life is speaking and we lack the tools or the will to understand, is it silent? Or are we just deaf? Perhaps the universe is not empty. Perhaps it sings in frequencies we haven't learned to hear, in rhythms we haven't trained ourselves to feel, in meanings we haven't yet imagined. And maybe, just maybe, those meanings are already passing through us. On Earth, we find life in the most unlikely places. High in the clouds, deep in the oceans, in radioactive ruins, in volcanic fire. Life bends, it stretches, it adapts, not just to survive, but to thrive. It seems unstoppable, unyielding, inevitable. But that is here, on Earth. What if Earth is not the rule, but the exception? We assume life must exist elsewhere. It feels too poetic, too logical not to. But how rare is it truly? What if our planet is not common, but a miracle in a desert of silence worlds? Or perhaps life is common, but the path to intelligence, to curiosity, to language, to civilization is rare. Maybe the road from chemistry to thought is not straight, but fragile, and most worlds never take it. In the next episode, we explore Goldilocks zones and the unsettling possibility posed by the rare Earth hypothesis, that planets like ours may be vanishingly rare. This is Aytaç Ertekin, this is SITU. Please consider subscribing, and together we will explore the silence in the universe.